Hi, this is Stephanie. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to just do a basic fall look going to a car show today. So we're going to start out with my primer. I've already washed my face with African black soap, toned it with witch hazel. I use Sweet Face from Cosset as a lip scrub. And then I lightly moisturize my lips with the Cosset lip balm. So the first thing I'm going to do is go in with none other than Monistat Chafing Relief Cream. Best primer ever. I use this primer all over my face. And I also will prime my neck because I'm wearing a V-neck shirt today, and so I want my neck to look nice and flawless too. Doesn't take a lot, and it lasts, the tube is going to last you forever, and it's runs about $9.99 at CVS. So after all of that is in nice and evenly smoothed out, I'm just going to take some CoverGirl Outlast and put that all over my face and my neck. Using a new brush today, so bear with me. It has 0 product on it. It's a lot smaller than the brush I usually use, which is currently broken, so I bring my foundation all the way down because if I'm wearing a V-neck shirt, I want my foundation to match the foundation on my cheeks, or on my entire face actually. Then I am just going to smooth this all over my face, and I'm going to try to avoid getting too much into my hairline because then it alters the color of the hair around your hairline and can give it kind of a dull look to your hair. I do have a few blemishes that need covered, so on those I am just going to, instead of swirling this around, I'm going to actually dab it a bit, so just like this, which really helps to pack it on there and cover those blemishes better. After that, I am just going to take some CoverGirl Outlast powder. Just going to be this one, and I am going to use just a big e.l.f. powder brush. I don't have any, I have a few, but I don't have any like super high-end brushes. I mainly will buy e.l.f. and then when it needs to be replaced, I can replace it. I don't actually feel as super guilty. They only run a couple of dollars, and so then I don't feel super guilty replacing them, or if they get lost, broken, stolen. I don't feel super horrible about the price range. And they're good brushes. They work fine. So I'm just going to put my powder all over Make sure that, you know, I give a little bit of special attention to anywhere where I do have blemishes. Mainly my nose, although it's not working as well as I'd like. It will be good enough for a car show. This is also a magnifying mirror. It's very unforgiving. Nobody is actually going to be that close to my face, so it doesn't have to be completely perfect in that mirror. I am also going to, if I can open it, which I can't. Got it open. This is what I'm going to use. This is the Wet n Wild pressed powder. It's the Photo Focus. I'm just going to put that. It's nice and matte, and I'm just going to put that on a little bit to even out this skin tone. I'm going to run it down my neck because I always do. A little bit on my chest just because. Make sure everything is nice and matte. And that's it for that. Now I am going to actually grab, so now I'm going to use the BH Cosmetics contour palette. As you can tell, I have a few favorites on here. I am going to use this one here and probably a little bit of this one. So just start here, and I'm going to swipe down until I get it to where I want it. And I am going to blend this out, but for now it's going to look pretty harsh. And then I'm just going to run my blush along my contour. I like pretty strong blush. Some people do not, and this is going to actually tone down once I finish and then add highlight. So I also run a little bit of blush along my hairline. Living in Nevada, it's always sunny, and that way it almost kind of looks like I've gotten a little bit of natural sun. And then I switch back to my powder. I'm just gonna run powder here to clean up that contour. And then right in here, just to kind of tone that blush down a little bit. I have a really round face, so I like to take my blush from here up just to kind of slim down my face a little bit. I always wait to do my highlight until the very end, right before I do mascara. That just gives me a chance to do my highlight and not have it end up getting eyeshadow flecks on it or anything like that. So highlight is always last. Now comes the tricky part, which is my brows. I haven't been doing my brows, or Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in Auburn, and I have always used powders for my brows, so this is fairly new to me. I do love it, but it can be a little challenging to get your brows the way, or at least for me, to get my brows the way that I want them. So I always start on the bottom, and then I just do the outline of my brows on the bottom. And I always use this magnifying mirror just because it's easier, I could be a lot more precise with this. Kind of decide where I want my brows to end. I don't have thick, nice brows, so I do end up filling in a lot because they just don't exist. They're just not there. So I have to kind of create my own brow. And after I do the bottoms, then I'm gonna start with the top. And I'm just going to go straight along the top of my brow. And I do my brows before I do my shadow, and that's just personal preference. That's just for me. That way, if I mess up my brows, it doesn't mess up my entire look. I can fix my brows and still do my shadow without having to restart the whole look. And I like my brows to be pretty filled in. A lot of people like a more ombre look, and I like that nice defined eyebrow look. Obviously, eyebrows, just like with any other part of your makeup, is completely your decision. It's completely personal preference. If you like them nice and thick, if you like them thin, dark, ombre, however you choose to do them. So after that, then I'm going to break into the Nubian palettes, and I'm going to start with a nice transition color. So I am actually thinking I'm going to use, that was a quick swatch. I'm going to use this one here, and this is going to be my transition color. So I am going to use a nice big fat shadow brush, and I'm just going to dip into that. And I always use my magnifying mirror when I do my shadow. It just helps me be a little bit more precise and helps me with a little bit of the blending. So I'm just going to start in my crease and run that all the way across. I'm not going to go down onto my lid, and I am going to go a little bit higher than my crease because I want this to be the color that transitions my lid to my upper lid. Once I have my transition where I want it and the color I want, these Juvia's Place palettes are very, very buildable. So start out with a little bit, and then you can add to it to get it to the color and dimension that you want. You don't want to start out with too much on your brush, just because they are extremely pigmented. So after that transition color, then I am going to choose a smaller brush, which is going to be this one, also Wet n Wild. And I'm just gonna go in, and I think that for today, I am going to go in first with a dark brown. So I'm going to go in with this color here in the Nubian palette. And that is gonna go right into my crease. So I'm just gonna kind of dab my brush into it. I don't want to pick up too much because, like I said, this is really pigmented, and I am going to tap my brush a little bit just because. So then I'm going to go right straight into my crease with that darker brown, and I'm just going to darken up the crease. I want it to be noticeably darker than the transition color, but I also want it to blend really well with that transition color. So as you can see, that added a lot of dimension to my crease. You can build this color up as much as you want, or add some other color if you want. I am going to now go in with a color from the Nubian 2 palette, which is going to be this one. It's actually called Ya, and it's kind of a more coppery brown. I'm going to add that to my crease and my lid. So again, just dabbing some in there. I'm using the same brush that I used for my crease color. That's going to help with the blending process. So I'm going to start that here, and I'm just going to add it and then blend it into my crease. So just to get that nice intense copper color, I am going to use this brush just a little bit damp. Then I'm going to choose a lid color, and I am going to add gold glitter. So my lid color isn't as, I don't need to be as picky and choosy with what lid color I choose. I think that I'm going to go with this color on the Nubian 2 palette, which is called Zuri. And this one is a really light shimmer. And that's just to go under the gold glitter. And I'm going to blend that into that other burnt copper color. And again, I'm going to get my brush wet a little bit. And that's just to intensify this color. It definitely makes a huge difference when you go from a dry brush to a damp brush. And you can do that with any of your setting sprays. So now that I have that lid color in place, I want to really crisp up the lines. then come back in and blend with this copper color. So I'm gonna go ahead and put on some gold glitter to add to this look. So I'm going to use this glitter glue, glitter primer, which is actually glue. So obviously it's not going to focus on that. I just put a little bit on my hand and then I use this really fine brush. That helps me to get in there. I'm just gonna put the primer where I want the glitter. Once I put the glitter on, I usually go back through with my liner and I just will make sure that all of those lines are nice and precise. I am going to put on lashes today, so let me do that really quick and I'll be right back. So I've got my lashes on and I have started on my lipstick. Today I'm going to wear Smashbox, and I'd love to tell, Misconduct by Smashbox, which is a nice, really dark oxblood matte. I have the worst time with this color of lipstick because I feel like it always bleeds. And since this one is so dark, I am tempted to add a little bit of glitter to it. So, in order to add a little glitter to this, I'm just going to use some of this. This is Bare Minerals, and it is in Golden Glaze. But I'm only going to add that to the inside. Make sure there's none on my teeth because that's not cute. And then to finish off today's look, usually I would always do my highlight before my lips because I like to highlight my Cupid's bow. But because I didn't, I'm going to use some Jeffree Star King Tut. It's kind of my go-to as far as highlighter goes. I like to highlight here on my cheekbone and a little around my eyes. This is by far my favorite highlight. I have tons of highlights and I always choose this one. I am going to highlight a little on my nose and then my Cupid's bow, which means I'm gonna have to fix that lipstick. And then that's my video for today. If you liked this video and would like to see more, hit the like button and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you.